Hi, Brian from Drinking Outside the Box here today. And today we have a special guest, Christian, and we're going even more special. We're not drinking today. Today we are actually going to cook with alcohol. Alcohol is a fantastic ingredient in lots of cooking. It adds depth of flavor, interesting characteristics, and other fun things to just play around with. And being that it's the holiday season, we have decided to go with desserts, because desserts are always fun. And most of these are quick and easy to do. The hardest part is the one Christian's doing. He has made crepes. And so we're gonna make Crepes Suzette, Bananas Foster's, and Cherries Jubilee. So come on in to now eating outside the box.
Well, thank you. Is a French specialty, and the crepes, which are made previously, are made with flour, eggs, milk, and butter. That's the recipe. And then I'm turning my stove on. Now, the way we do that, you let your butter melt, and we're gonna add to that some brown sugar. The brown sugar is gonna be melting. It's gonna make it's gonna caramelize nicely. So now, Crepes Suzette, well, it's a French dish, of course, and it was made for a comedian called Suzanne Reichenberg, which she was a comedian at the Comédie Française in France, in Paris, and she obviously impressed some of the cooks, and they decided to make a recipe for her. So my butter is melted now. I did add the brown sugar, which we're gonna cook to a point of being caramelized. So it's cooking slowly, nicely, gently. I'm gonna turn my stove a little bit down because we don't want to overcook that. Then I have an orange, which I'm gonna make a nice orange sauce. So it's getting thicker, which is perfect. The sugar is almost melted to a perfection. You can smell, we can smell. Now, we're gonna put the crepes. And the crepes, I'm gonna put them in a quarter this way. I got double there. Now, as you can see, I got them brown ahead of time. Now, we turn that full speed. Maybe. You want your crepes to enjoy all the beautiful sugar and the beautiful orange. And now we're gonna have a little bit of Grand Marnier, which is a liquor of orange. And then you put it on the side of your pan a little bit like that, and and that should do the job. Now the crepes are finished. Now we're going to serve them in a beautiful plate for our guests. And we are done.
So on to the next dessert that we're doing is Bananas Foster's. Now Banana Foster's is actually very similar to the Crepes Suzette that Christian just did. It's butter, brown sugar, orange juice, lemon juice, banana, flamed with rum, and then finished with some banana liqueur. So we'll go ahead and get that started. We'll get the pan, get it warm. Melt some butter. All good things always start with melting butter, in case you didn't know that. So Bananas Foster's is one of those famous New Orleans desserts. It comes from Brennan's. And it actually was one of those great mistakes that happened is a merchant bought too many bananas. And at that point in time, you know, the railway system was just beginning to get real big. Refrigeration wasn't real huge. So at that point, he had too many bananas and nothing to do with them. So he called Brennan's and said, what can you do with a bunch of bananas? So they came up with this dessert, caramelized bananas over a vanilla ice cream. So as I said, we're starting the same way. Melt butter, put in brown sugar. As it's coming together, absorbs all that wonderful, wonderful butter. You squeeze in half a lemon. And an orange. Let it all come together. Turn your heat down so you don't scorch the sugar. Actually, right now we can just turn it off. And then you cut up your banana. Now, if you do this safely, you leave the peel on, you're a lot less likely to cut your hand, and you can cut it in the skin. Now this has traditionally always been a tableside dessert. So you would be doing this whole presentation at a table with people watching you, and you know, you have beautiful bananas. You've got a nice caramel sauce. You turn your heat back up. Now, a fun way to get flambeing. Tilt your pan back so that the one side gets dry, and then it heats up. And you can turn it all the way up. I'm using overproof rum, which is the most dangerous way to do it, but it's a lot of fun. Once it gets hot, off the heat, just a little bit of the rum, and then as you tip it forward, you get big flames. Then you do some fairy dust, which is just nutmeg and cinnamon all mixed together, but it kind of brings the dish all together. Let it cook for another little bit. Turn the heat off. Finish with a nice little brioche creme de banana. Doesn't take much. Just adds that little bit of extra flavor. Take some beautiful vanilla ice cream. And do half on each one. And don't waste any of that beautiful caramel. And there you have Bananas Foster's. And our last dessert, which is probably actually my favorite one, that's why we're doing it last. You always save your favorite for last, is Cherries Jubilee. Now, you've seen us do this before. We're adding butter. Melt the butter. Now this dessert, not a happy mistake. It was made on purpose for a celebration. It was Queen Victoria's Jubilee celebration. So whenever the monarchy becomes, moves on up, you have to have special. And at that point in time, the best chef in the entire world was Augustus Escoffier. And Escoffier said, I'm going to make this dessert for her. It's going to be served at the coronation, the Jubilee. So he came up with Cherries Jubilee for Queen Victoria. But it all starts off as a very similar process. You make a caramel, butter, brown sugar. It melts together. And then you orange. Lemon. Now here's the very important part. There are many different kinds of cherries out there. You want to get the dark cherries, not the bright red ones, not the pie filling. These are just dark cherries. They have a more intense, deep flavor, and it's beautiful. Stir it in. Same trick as last time. Bring everything back, heat up the top. Traditionally this would be brandy. I'm still using rum. I like the flaming better on it because it's higher proof. Be careful you're not under a fire extinguisher while you're doing that. And then just to add even more cherry flavor, a little bit of cherry liqueur. Let it reduce down a bit. It has extra sauce because of the cherries. And again, beautiful vanilla ice cream with your sauce and your cherries. And Cherries Jubilee. So thank you for letting us try something a little bit different than our usual format. We still stuck to 3, but other than that, we cooked with alcohol. This is a fun way to share, easy, fast things with your guests this holiday season, and keep playing around with alcohol. Have a happy holidays.